Smurphgang, and welcome back to another episode. And guess what? Don't do it. Please don't do it. Thank you, sir. Guess what? We're back, and I would like to tell you a little bit about this 250. Because there are some things that I like and I dislike, and maybe it might sway you on whether or not you should get one as your first bike, or just as a bike in general. Because I may be biased. Factually speaking, I am biased. This bike is awesome. Okay, simple to play. Now, with that being said, and with the disclaimer of my biasy, I can assure you this bike is awesome. Here's why I say that. One, I own it, but no, for real. The 5 things that I do like about this bike. One, well, first off, it's a bike, and I built it from scratch. Well, mostly scratch. It was a non-running motorcycle, and I built it, so that's one reason I love this bike. 2, it is very approachable for just about anybody. The reason I say that is because, well, I've made many mistakes when it comes to shifting and or, well, just riding in general, and a bigger bike, faster bike, or whatever would have probably yeeted me off the back faster than I could have even realized it. That being said, number 3, this bike is reliable. It's constantly at 7,000 plus RPMs, just ringing it out, and it has been extremely reliable for that entire time. With that being said, I can honestly say the only thing I've ever needed to do to this, after I got it running obviously, was switch out the chain, because that's something I've neglected to do, and that is absolutely necessary. Number 4. The 4th thing I like about this bike, well, it's a sport bike. Well, at least sport looking bike. So you can get the older 2008 from 2007 and back to 1984, and it looks like something from 1984. Carbureted old technology just like this one. Everything's pretty much the same on it. However, this one actually looks like a sport bike. And that's important to me because I'm a sport bike guy. I'm definitely a sport bike guy. And those grooves are hard to ride in. But I'm a sport bike guy, and it looks like a sport bike. That's very important to me. I bought another bike, and you know, if you've seen my channel, you know that it's a CBR 600RR from 2003. It's old. I like old stuff. New stuff is just, it doesn't agree with me. But long story short, as we downshift, I like old stuff. This thing is old, and well, it's probably older than most people that watch these videos. Anyway, with that being said, it's easy to fix. Oil changes, easy. Carburetor adjustment, well, maybe not easy if you don't know what you're doing, or it's easy if you know what you're doing. But seriously, everything about this bike, it's pretty freaking simple. I've had no issues with being afraid of needing to fix anything, from fairings to oil changes to everything. I just honestly don't have the tools to do it. I can do an oil change, but I don't have a 32 millimeter socket at the moment. So I'll do the chain eventually. We'll replace the chain eventually, but we'll get there. I believe this is the last thing. The last thing I like is that this thing is just fast enough to be fun. This thing will do everything that a 1000cc sport bike will do. It'll sound good enough to do it. It'll get you to 100 miles an hour if you're not 250 pounds like Fastlane D. I think that dude I've been watching for a while, and that's a big dude. I don't think this bike would be very good for somebody that size, just being honest. But with that said, there are a few things that I hate about this bike. Number 1, come on, dude, you can do it. Why are you waiting so long? Anyway, what do I like about this, or what do I hate about this bike? Number 1, I don't know if you're switching lanes, but I am. Number 1 is slow after 60 miles an hour. After 60 miles an hour, this thing has nothing, I tell you. While it's fun getting up to 100 miles an hour, it's a struggle to get there. But everything before 60 miles an hour is great. It'll even pop a wheelie. But, again, I've grown out of this bike. I've absolutely grown out of it. I've learned enough to where I'm confident enough to where I can ride a 600cc sport bike with no issues and not be afraid of it. Or super sporty, for that matter. Well, okay, have a respectful fear. Because, yes, I am afraid of it, but not in the same way that I was afraid of this bike. I was afraid of this bike because it was the first bike I'd ever be on. Alright, I guess not. The first bike I ever been on the road. And I crashed it twice before I got my MSF license. Anyway, long story short, ladies and gentlemen, is that this bike is slow, but I love it. Sorry, I forgot where I was at. Number one, it's slow. Number two, gosh, where was I with number two? Anyway, number two, this bike is actually not that comfortable in the seat. The seat is terribly uncomfortable. While I can pretty much stand up over this bike without touching the seat entirely, it's that moment you're in the seat for longer than 2 hours where you're just like, God, my butt hurts. This thing will sort you out fast, and I'll be honest with you, I've only been in it for 2 hours one time, and I know it could be worse. Probably the CB600R is definitely probably going to be a worse seat or seating position. It's older technologies. This bike is surprisingly newer. But that is EFI and a working fuel gauge. Mine may or may not work. I'm not positive. It says half a tank, but I filled it up this morning, so I don't know. Ain't no way. I've only gone maybe 15 minutes on the road with this. There ain't no way I'm at half a tank. The other thing I hate about this bike is it is tiny. It is, even me being 5'6", I am too big. Well, I'm not too big, but I can flat-foot it even too easily. This thing is dang near scooter size, man. Dang near scooter size. Laying over into this corner. I feel like I'm really close to the ground, but I'm not. I'm really not, but it feels like it is, and that's something that's a little bit nerve-wracking when you're riding with a little gusto. Downshift, oh, that was a little bit too much. All right, I just don't want to be behind all that crap. Anyway, it was the seat. Number 3 is that it's small, and number 4, oh, for the love of God. The one thing I do, the second to most infuriating thing about this bike, the second most, I know I said it's slow, but it's really slow. There is no vehicle aside from 1980s 98 horsepower D series Honda Civic that this thing can beat, and that is embarrassing. Look, I know it's a 1000cc Kawasaki ZX-10R from 2023. Yes, they are faster, but I'm literally pinned at 100 miles an hour in Mexico, where he's just literally barely even hitting the gas at 100 miles an hour, and he's walking away with a smile. I can't tell you how degrading that is. Come on, man. Your grandma in her little minivan, Chrysler Town and Country, is faster than this frickin' bike. She'll do a burnout with that thing, no turbo included, and dog walk me all over this place. That is not okay. This is a motorcycle. It's supposed to be fast. And last but not least, while it's not the ugliest bike in the world, it is not a pretty bike to look at. It's so basic, so boring. It's a C average as it looks. It looks like every other, there's nothing about it that stands out. Like everybody could tell you that this is a 250cc, but it's not like, you know how Harley has brand appeal? This 250C has no appeal other than the fact that it actually goes and looks like a sport bike. It doesn't look like a cool sport bike, but it's a sport bike, and I love it. But granted, I wish it looked cooler. Our CBR 600RR, it looks cooler with the single undertailing on and whatnot. Cooler at all. But this bike, Kawasaki Ninja 250R, not cooler than the previous generation of it. And somehow I keep finding myself with the first generation of these bikes, or bikes in general. But look, those are the 10 things about this bike that I love, or 5 things that I love, 5 things that I hate. If you followed me this far in all my rambunctious rambling, well, I appreciate it. This is a Kawasaki 250R. I'm Afro Smurf, and guess what? This thing is for sale, but don't tell anybody. I'm out of here. But look, if you watch this far, I appreciate you. Comment, subscribe, and if you made it to the end of this video, comment Kobe Bryant, basketball player in the world.